The world is rushing around them right now, but the students from Braybrook College were happy to sit down and discuss the issues of the day in an honest, open manner. Welcome to a very special part one of a two-part episode where our Year 12s reflect. In this week's part one, we discuss the Black Lives Matter protests and the after effects of COVID-19 and the lockdown. What are the positives to come out of the whole COVID crisis and the lockdown and all that stuff? What are the things where you think, oh, I think that was really a really good outcome?
Well, for me, because this is what I went through during COVID, is self-evaluation, like working on yourself, like, because like nowadays, you know, this youth of age, this generation is going through a lot, and like for a time for us to think about ourselves and like to get back on top, because you know some people might be going through stuff that we don't even know about, you know, like I'll be going through stuff that no one knows about. Like this is a great time to think and like really think about what you want to do. Like you can think about so much. You can think about the rest of your life, what you want to do with your life, like how are you going to plan your life. You know what I mean? Yeah,
well, look, I do. That's you speak with such passion. Was there a moment in particular that you recall and you thought something that you hadn't been thinking before? You know, if you were doing that introspection stuff, were there any moments where you go, holy crap, I think, da-da-da, you know?
Yeah, like all the time, to be honest. It was like really surprising, like when I like rethink my actions and then I realized what I did, I'm like, what? What do you mean? What are you doing? Like, whoa, that's so amazing. Or like I reevaluate other people's actions and how they go, and I'm like, whoa, like sometimes it's inspiration, sometimes it's a learning curve.
So. I think we should lock you down more often. Who else? Did anybody else have that self-reflection, that you know, just have considering life and school and where they're at? Was that a common thing? Or?
To me, it wasn't that common because I felt like I was kind of locked up in my house. And I wanted to go outside and spend time with friends and family, but I couldn't. And then I felt kind of isolated.
So what was the upside though?
Upside was that I'm able to spend more time with my family, talk to them, get to know them even more. And then like sometimes they do go to work, but like it makes you feel like they are the only person you can talk to at home.
Wow, that's interesting because I've heard that a few times. Tell me something that you learned about your family that you hadn't really taken any notice of until you were stuck with them.
When I was stuck with them, I got to know how much like the activities, what they wanted, they liked, what food. Yeah. Like because when they grow up, when like my sister gets old, we start moving apart, don't talk that much, and then when like we're stuck in the house together, we got to know like what type of food they like now and who they hang out with and talk.
It's a great positive. Kenny, did you have that same experience with your family?
Yeah. My parents talked about like their past and stuff and how they have it like bad, and you guys should be like grateful what you have now.
Did you enjoy that experience of getting to re-engage in your unit tonight?
Yeah. I appreciate what my parents done.
Yeah.
To bring me here. Yeah.
Same for you?
Not really, because it was kind of normal for me to stay home.
Okay.
Yeah, the lockdown wasn't really a lockdown for me because I still went to work and like church and stuff.
Okay, so what is the upside then? And because that's what we're considering in this particular panel for you. What was the upside of the COVID crisis?
I think it was not going to school. Like, I like school, but not waking up early in the morning, dressing up the kids.
Yeah. I saw your head nodding vigorously when they were talking about the family thing. So for each of you guys that felt that you got a bit closer to your family, now that it's back to normal, if you enjoyed that experience of getting to know them, how do you keep that going forward? Or do we fall back into old habits?
Fall back to our old habits, I guess. Because I'm away at school and they work, so then I get to see them like maybe maybe 4 hours in the afternoon, and then they have to like go sleep. So yeah.
Is that sad?
In his case, in my case is kind of different because some of my family they go to work and some doesn't. Like my mum, I get to help her out around the house when I get home, and then help her cook food, which is like what I really like.
Yeah.
Because I get to spend more quality time with my mum, talk to her, get to know her about her past, and I feel more like close.
You know her favourite music?
Mostly Viet music, but she doesn't really listen to music anymore.
Does she know your favourite music? No, I kept.
If she knew what music I listened to, it'd probably be like weirder. Because some music was.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
You're upbeat all the time from everything I've seen today. Just tell me, how do you feel going forward? And we'll talk about the positives. How do you feel going forward, not as a young school person in the last year of school, about going forward and stepping into the world as an adult next year? Was the COVID crisis, given the upside you've given us, how does that equate to you moving into adult life? Do you reckon it'll change little things about the way you conduct yourself as an adult?
Yeah, I think so.
Tell me how. Tell me why.
Especially because my house, I'm surrounded with a lot of females, but like older generation females, and I feel like during that, like you see and like they teach you how to, like for me, they teach me of what I should do and like how like to take on the world. Like they are your advice. Like use the people that you are surrounded with that are like wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like don't use them like in a bad way, but like use them as an opportunity to guide you through life.
Yep.
Like that's how I take on it. So did that even answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've all seen an upside in the COVID crisis. If I say the word COVID again, can somebody slap me because I'm so tired of saying it? But if it just happened that we had another thing, would you gladly accept the opportunity to do it all again, or would you be a little angsty about it now? Because it sounds good the way you painted it. It sounds like tick a few boxes. But having said that, the reality of it, if I said to you, you're done, that haircut's going home for another 3 months, how would you feel?
I'll probably feel kind of bad because like you experience it once, you don't really experience it again. But like you want to spend time with your family, but you don't want to spend too much. Or you get to.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the rest of you? Do it again, or had enough of that?
Honestly, I didn't like. We watched COVID happening on the TV, but I didn't really feel like it was real.
Well, that's interesting because there are a lot of people would share your opinion.
Yeah, for me, like I knew it was real, but
You knew it was real how though?
Like on watching the news, social media, we'll see it everywhere. But like,
Then what made you suspicious?
I don't know. I think I'm not saying that I want to see it. I just didn't think it was real.
Oh, believe me, that's a very common thing, and I'm glad you're bold enough to say that because a lot of people are scared to say, have been literally scared to say. I think you're all lovely. Thank you for that. That's going to make some really good vision. Thank you, guys.
She doesn't even go here.
Brought to you by Getting Ready for Life. I won't go over. Oh, I'm too terrified anyway. He crushed me like a bug. All right, ladies. Hello. Small group, but I'm sure it'll be an interesting one because it's an interesting topic because it's very current. Black Lives Matter, the protests, the uproar. I know you know what it's all about, I presume. What Black Lives Matter? Are you aware of how it's come about and what's happening?
Yes.
Tell me about, from your point of view, what do you know?
I think it started in 2013 when I don't know his name, but I think he was a victim of police brutality, and it sparked the movement, and then it's come back this year in 2020 because of the death of George Floyd,
Right.
and people have kind of just had enough, like it was kind of just like the last straw.
Okay.
It started protests around the world.
Yep. Your take, how do you know about this?
It's just, it's all over the internet, and at first I wasn't really aware of the Black Lives Matter protests and all that, but then because of social media, I see a lot of people, posting stuff about that, but then now, like, Black Lives Matter, it's not only about Black Lives Matter now, it's like about all lives matter, and I think it's just like about racism too, and how racism is real and it affects everyone in the community and all around the world.
That's a really good take. I want to get back to you quickly on I'll do that now. So the All Lives Matter, I find it troubling that when All Lives Matter is brought into the debate, quite often that is held down because Black Lives Matter will be saying it's about us, not about all. It's very confusing, isn't it? For a young person, I mean, do you take information from social media? Do you scratch your head and go, I'm not sure how I feel about this? Because I think we all agree Black lives do matter.
Yeah, it does.
That's not in doubt, but just the way that they are even arguing amongst themselves.
In my opinion, I think it's just all lives matter, no matter what, because like everyone is treated differently, and all around the world, like especially because there's a lot of racism towards Asian people because of the coronavirus and stuff, and it's just I've seen on the news and social media how people attack like Asians because they think that they're the cause of the coronavirus, and that's why I think all lives matter.
No, I'm sure a lot of people agree with you that horrific video of that fellow Floyd. I presume we all saw that at some point. I don't think I've ever felt quite as sick at seeing something. It was very emotional, wasn't it, to watch? Is your take on Black Lives Matter more emotional based on what you saw in that video, or is it more based on what you know about particularly African American issues in the United States? Is it a practical argument or is it an emotional one?
I think it's both. But I think it's just that the video kind of brought the emotions up. Like before that video, the racism was still occurring. It's just that we kind of were neglecting the fact that it was happening. And then once everybody saw the video, they kind of realized, oh, like this is wrong. Like when they actually had to see it, they weren't able to avoid it. And like it actually sparked like emotions and stuff, and made people realize we can't keep ignoring this.
So that was a trigger.
Yeah.
What then do you say, for example, and this is, look, I'm just putting it out there, when you have situations that in Chicago a couple of weekends ago, there were 89 people shot, black people shot in Chicago in one weekend, but they were all shot by other African Americans. And it's something we're not addressing. How do you feel that one death sparks a huge protest, but a whole spate of shootings doesn't inflame people as well?
It's probably because George Floyd wasn't killed by black people.
So Black Lives Matter and all lives matter. Shouldn't all incidents involving African Americans being hurt, killed, matter?
Yeah, they should. I don't know.
No, it's okay. I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Is racism endemic? Is racism strong in Australia, do you think? You just mentioned about the Asian kind of thing.
Well, I don't know if it's strong, but I've seen a lot recently, so I think it's more common in America, and but not really here.
Let me just.
Yeah, that's your version.
Yeah, in Australia.
Well, okay. So let me just take it one step further. As young people with opinions, which you're absolutely entitled to and you need to take into the world with you, would you be bold enough to step up and lead a protest about something like this, like All Lives Matter or Asian Lives Matter? Would you be bold enough to pick up a placard and walk into the city and say, this is what I stand for? Is that something you're passionate about?
If I learned more about it and kind of understood the topic more, I'd probably do that.
Yeah?
I don't think I understand it enough to
That's
do
it.
that yet.
Which is a really good thing to think, because if you know what you're talking about, then you can do something with real commitment, can't you? Thank you. It was a difficult subject and I thought you did really well.
Well done.
Work.
That
Thank you,
was
guys.
well done, especially when you had two members also missing, but it didn't matter.
Thank you.
Great.